Hello, I am Upama Sen. My thesis topic is Planning for Livable Public Open Spaces, befitting case of Rajarhat Gopalpur, supervised by Professor Joy Sen. I will be going through the following in this presentation. Cities are sprawling outside their limits due to rapid urbanization. The per capita availability of open space is decreasing by day. This is detrimental to the environment and public realm and is an environmental justice issue. Most Indian cities have developed organically, and informality is evident even in its open spaces. Studies on open spaces mostly apply on Western formalized ones. There is a growing interest in measuring livability in the built urban environment. The aim of the thesis is to study the dynamics of public open spaces and approach in formulating a toolkit of features and scoring index to earmark livable public open spaces befitting the case of Rajarhat Gopalpur. These are the four objectives implied to achieve the aim. This is the adopted approach and tools and techniques used. The methodology is broken down as per each objective into three parts: input, task, and output. These are the scope and limitations of the study. A public open space is a publicly managed open area, both green or hard space that does not contain permanent built structures and is accessible for public use. It provides opportunities to socialize and recreate, promotes social inclusion, generates community cohesion, nourishes physical and mental health. It redresses urban heat island effect, incorporates nature and wildlife in the urban fabric, tackles issues like urban regeneration, and contributes to disaster management. The quality of POS can be classified into visual quality that leads to imageability and have a direct impact on the user's experience, physical quality that contributes to its usability, and spiritual quality that improves cognitive characteristics in users. The characteristics of POS are accessibility, safety, engagement, identity, comfort, multifunctionality, and inclusiveness. Usability of POS can be described by user and activity. Activity can be necessary, optional, or social. The value of POS can be measured in terms of economic value, crime reduction, environment, health and well-being, play and recreation, and social dimension. There are various ways to classify public open space. Historically, public open spaces have been the nucleus of social, cultural, and political life. Over time, the form and function of these open spaces have evolved, but they have retained a host of similar characteristics. Livability of public open space can be defined as the quality of the place that contributes to the latent quality of life. Public open space is identified under certain sustainable development goals. The following cases have been studied. Superkullen in Copenhagen is an example of the transformation of a neighborhood from a scary, unsafe place into an attraction point in the world. Manek Chowk is an urban public space that is experiencing deterioration of public life and needs planning intervention. Robindra Sarobor in Kolkata acts as the green lungs of the city and serves as a recreation space for citizens. The broader focus area of the study is the peri-urban region of Kolkata, which has been narrowed down to Rajarhat Gopalpur, a locality under the Bidhannagar Municipal Corporation in North 24 Parganas in West Bengal. It was previously administered under the Rajarhat Gopalpur municipality. The region has seen huge spurt in real estate development over the past decades. The primary and secondary data collected is listed here. Based on literature review and site study, a taxonomy is formulated on typology and scale of POS. The scoring index is developed based on the 7 criteria. Each criteria has a set of indicators which have a positive or negative impact on the metrics. To score a POS, each indicator is assigned a respective value. As these values are expressed in different units, they are normalized by the dimensional index methodology. The category index is then computed by the category-wise averaging of normalized indicator score. The weighted summation of all the category index produces the POS livability score. Weightage for the criteria are obtained from the expert opinion survey using Fuzzy Delphi. A 5-point fuzzy spectrum is selected based on which opinions from a panel of 10 experts is obtained. Satellite imagery obtained by remote sensing is analyzed to observe the spatiotemporal change. The land cover is studied at an interval of 5 years over a period of 20 years from 1999 to 2019 using supervised classification. The temporal land cover variation over the last 2 decades indicate that the urban area has increased by over 100% and green spaces have decreased by over 50%. The reliability of the supervised classification is tested by confidence testing and kappa coefficient. The existing land use is compared to that of Salt Lake, which is a planned area juxtaposed to Rajarhat Gopalpur to find the gaps in land use in the study area. Analysis of existing land use indicate that Rajarhat Gopalpur has 22% of open or vacant land and agricultural land, which gives it a better scope for development. Rajarhat Gopalpur has a population within 1 to 5 lakh and is therefore analogous to medium town 2 as per URD-PFI. The comparative analysis highlight the low percentage of public, semi-public and recreational area. Over the last decade, the population increased by 48%, while it increased only 7% in the Kolkata metropolitan area. The ward-wise density in the study area is mapped here. Gini's coefficient for population distribution is 0.3, which indicates some degree of inequality. The Moran's index of 0.67 indicates cluster development. For a detailed site study, the study area is divided into 5 smaller regions based on boundary features and edge conditions. Region 1 is currently experiencing rapid development and hence would pose greater demand for POS in future. Region 2 has adequate POS facilities. With no or very few vacant land, it does not see further densification. In Region 3, the dense pockets have a high demand for POS. The less dense wards are seeing rapid densification, which is depleting its open spaces. Region 4 is bounded by canals, which require development to function as good POS. In Region 5, the growth trends pose threat of densification and it would demand POS in the near future. Visuals of the existing POS facilities in the study area are geotagged as shown. An inventory is created with certain attributes of POS. Quantitative analysis shows the number and area of POS as per typology. Detailed analysis of certain POS is conducted. Railpukur is a water body with a ground and a children park in a fairly residential neighborhood. It has a historical background and is referred as a landmark in its locality. This shows the layout and section of Railpukur. The activity in the POS is mapped on a weekday evening. An user satisfaction survey based on different parameters is conducted with 10 different users. The overall satisfaction score is 3.77 with a standard deviation of 0.38. The interface space along the VIP road is known by its adjacent commercial establishments. It is active throughout the day with various activities engaging different users. It serves as a recreational, congregation and service space. Activity in the POS is mapped during day and evening on a weekday. The overall user satisfaction score is 2.96 with a standard deviation of 0.25. Survey indicates that despite 55% people have access to POS, 50% of them never actively use it. The degree of social interaction is high, which infers that POS are not the sites of social interaction. Focus group discussion states that this is due to the lack of quality of POS. User perception on benefits and significance of POS is gathered. User satisfaction survey indicates poor level of satisfaction for open spaces. These are the development preferences as indicated from the user survey and focus group discussions. Network analysis is used to map the service area of POS along the road network. This is translated to map accessibility. The other criteria of safety, engagement, identity, and comfort, multifunctionality, and inclusiveness is mapped by qualitative analysis. The spatial representation of the parameters are overlaid with respective weights as mentioned in the scoring index. This produces a map indicating hotspots in the study area. 9 indicates the highest POS score. Based on the study, planned intervention is proposed in the form of broad strategies for development, development strategies for new and existing POS, and action areas. The broad level strategies are as follows. Design strategies include urban branding, redesign, development, and upgradation of POS. Fiscal strategies include forming partnership, levying user charges in certain POS, betterment tax, seeking advertisement and sponsorship. Maintenance strategies include volunteer training program, awareness generation, non-labor intensive waste management, surveillance, and native species for landscape. Management strategies include maintenance of a digital database for POS. Stakeholder strategies include partnership, involvement in planning process, and sense of ownership in stakeholders. And user participation strategy are directed to attract footfall. Based on weighted overlay analysis, the existing POS are categorized into groups that require major intervention, minor intervention, and no intervention at all. Development strategies for each category is recommended as shown. There is an evident need for POS in certain regions as mapped. Study shows availability of open developable parcels in certain areas. The strategies for selection of vacant lands for new POS are proposed here. These are the proposals for new POS and their tentative locations. A city-level park is proposed in the northern part of the study area. The ward-wise proposals are stated here. Action areas are selected from the assessed hotspot from the weighted overlay analysis. Action area 1 is the stretch along VIP Road. It has a huge potential and can serve better to its users by necessary interventions. The goal is to develop a seamless interface space along the road, facilitating commercial and recreational activities. The section shows designated area for pedestrian pathway and interface space. Land use planning strategies propose commercial and mixed-use development along the stretch with mandatory 2.5-meter wide pavement and interface space. Transportation strategies propose dedicated lanes and parking spaces. Physical infrastructure proposes waste collection system and street lines at 15 meters center to center for illumination. Urban design strategies mention different typology of trees for landscaping and permeability for pavement. It also states guidelines for coherent building signage, street furniture, etc. Action Area 2 is the Bagjola Canal Front. The area can be developed as a waterfront development with recreational areas, green spaces, organized vending zones, etc. This would enhance the real estate value in the region. The goal is to develop the underutilized canal front to function as a public open space. The section shows the plan for the canal front development with road network on either side. Land use planning strategies propose development of public spaces, rehabilitation of slum, and relocation of encroached shops. Road infrastructure to be developed on either side of canal with one-way traffic flow to ease circulation. Bridges to improve connectivity between both sides. Waste management strategies restrict disposal of waste in the canal and proposes proper waste collection. The canal edges to be concreted for embankment, street lights at 15 meters center to center along the road, and decorative lights at 5 meters center to center along the canal is proposed for illumination. Urban design includes strategies for fencing, landscape, etc. Two typology of fencing is proposed and must be coherent along the entire stretch. Landscape includes shade-giving, evergreen, non-fruit-bearing trees along the road and native low-maintenance and flowering trees in other areas. Action Area 3 is the Keshtopur Canal Front. It can be developed to increase connectivity between two regions along with development of the canal front. The goal is to enhance connectivity between two regions and build a character of the place. The plan shows the conceptual development strategy. The section shows designated areas for pavement, road, location for light fixtures, and fencing. Proposed development strategies are similar to the previous case with certain additions and modifications. Land use strategies propose increased FAR to attract development. Traffic calming measures to be adopted. Three typology of fencing is proposed. Landscape and street furniture strategies are however similar. Proposals are divided in two phases for efficient planning and functioning. Here we come to the end of the presentation. Thank you.